today is the Polish Tantal. This is the Century Arms version. We'll get more into the modifications I have on it here in a minute in the tabletop, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to do our typical review. We're going to take some shots at the box behind me. It's 15 meters away. Show how the rifle handles at close-up distances. Then we're going to back up to 100 meters, take some shots on the steel plate, see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this non-chrome lined Tantal barrel with the surplus rounds. All day today we're going to be firing 7N6 rounds, which is actually the reason I bought this rifle, to shoot a bunch of cheap surplus rounds through it. Even though it doesn't have a chrome lined barrel, I really don't care because it's a cheap rifle. We'll get into that more in a minute. But right now we're going to take some shots here at the box and then back up, hit into a tabletop, and do some chronograph testing of the 7N6 through this gun. All right. Probably wouldn't be a good day if you were standing back there where that box is. All right, we're going to back it up. Move back to 100 meters. We're still firing the 7N6 out of the Tantal. Got a 10-inch plate down there, which isn't exactly any sort of feat of accuracy, but it's the longest distance I have, so we'll use it. We'll be shooting at that plate right there on the lower right. Take a few shots, see if we can make it ring a little bit. As you guys can see there, this rifle's definitely capable of getting hits out at 100 meters. It's I'm sure capable of getting hits a lot farther. It's just in this new area I'm shooting at, 100 meters is the longest I have, the longest shot I have that I can get on camera. So that'll have to do for now. But up next will be the tabletop review. Time for the tabletop here, guys, on the Polish Tantal. One thing I've noticed is that this rifle doesn't look like the ones that you see online. The reason is I did a couple modifications here. I switched out the stock, the folding stock, because I don't like the folding stock. I put on a old Wasser stock. If you guys want to see a video of how to do that, I'll put the link right over here of the how-to. I put a US palm grip on there, and then I just refinished the entire rifle, with the exception here of the bolt carrier, which you can see that's the color it used to be. Refinished it with a aluminide finish, but other than that, it is stock. Like I said earlier, I bought it to shoot the cheap 7N6 ammo, even though it doesn't have a chrome line barrel. Shoots those out with no problems. Let's address some of the myths, if you will, with this rifle, or the problems that are out there on the internet. You guys can see there, this is I'm not sure how well that's popping up at the camera, but this is a TTL serial number Tantal. However, this one was produced early, I want to say January of 2012. It has never keyholed with any kind of ammo. I fired Silver Bear and 7N6 through it exclusively. Never had a keyhole at any distance. So it seems that they kind of got that figured out over there at Century. The issue I did have, though, out of the factory was the front sight was canted. So Century has a warranty policy of 1 year as long as you're the original owner. I sent it back in, free of charge. They fixed it, zeroed it, and actually cleaned the rifle, which most companies, if you ever send your gun back, they don't clean it. They cleaned it. It was just a little something I like to put out there and note, because it's nice if they actually did that kind of stuff. A couple features unique to the Tantal, guys. In America, this little lever here will actually actuate the safety lever, as you can see. That's not a Tantal feature. That's a United States imported or built rifle feature. In the original rifles, it just that was the select fire rate, so burst, semi, or full auto. But they pinned it when they built these guns over here in the U.S., so it actually functions as somewhat of a safety manipulator. But just pointing that out, another difference of the Tantal rifles versus the standard AK here is the way it's secured. You can flip that up so that way you can't pull the top cover off. That was to help stabilize it when shooting grenades off the front. Speaking of grenades, as you can see there, it's got a non-standard AK brake. Reason is, again, for attaching grenades. Since most of us aren't going to do that, we'll just drive on. Opening the gun up, it's very similar if not exactly the same as the AK-74 pattern rifle. Everything in there's standard, bolt carrier, all that jazz. It's got a Tapco trigger, which I like. I'm a fan of the Tapco triggers. They're good triggers. It's about the only good product they make. Well, their mags are alright too. But anyway, assembles, disassembles, just like a traditional AK with one exception. And we'll get into that here once I put it back together. The exception there is going to be up here on the front. Instead of having a swivel like you would on a regular AK over here that you'd flip up to take the gas tube off, up here on the Polish Tantal you have to flip this lever down, pull this out, the retainer out, up, and then it all pops off. The lower handguard is standard AK-74. It fits anything. I really like this one. It's the bakelite that comes with the rifle. I like the palm swell. It gives you a good grip when you're firing the rifle. But the top cover is non-standard, unique to the Tantal, as well as some barrels. Barrel handguards will fit it. So it's something you got to consider when you're looking into these rifles, because they are a little bit non-standard, but the majority of the rifle is the same. This gun has tight lockup with just about any mags. Here you got the Circle 10 45 rounders, so you can see here, very tight, no play whatsoever. Throw a few others in there. The Circle 10 Plum magazines, very tight, no play whatsoever. In the beginning of the video you saw the Polish Tantal steel, and here's some Polish Palmer mags. No issues, everything locks up tight. All in all, guys, it's a good rifle. At the price point I got it at, I got it for $3.89 shipped. I sold the folder for 40 bucks, and I sold one of the mags for, I want to say, another 20. So really, like, I got the rifle for $330. I had this stock kicking around, threw it on there anyway. But for the money, it's a great rifle. Like I said, the barrel is non-chrome line. A lot of people don't like that. It's also a US made barrel, so a lot of people will say it's a terrible barrel, and I mean, it's not a great barrel. If you're comparing it to a like a SLR barrel or a SGL barrel, it's definitely not going to be able to hold its own in terms of durability and resistance to corrosion from the 7.6 ammo. But it does just fine, and at the price I don't complain. When you clean it, just spray it down with some water and use ballast as well at the end of a range session. Take it home and clean as normal after that. I've never had any rust, never had any issues. It's still holding good accuracy. As you can see, I was hitting that plate out there earlier without issue, and I wasn't really concentrating too hard. So it's plenty accurate with the standard ammo. And if it ever gets to the point that it's not accurate, I can just rebarrel it for what, 100 bucks, 150 bucks. So I'm not going to complain at all. All in all, a good rifle. Up next will be a chronograph test with that 7.6 ammo. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But in summary, it's a pretty good rifle. I like it. Time for the chronograph test. We're going to see what kind of performance we're getting out of this barrel and those 7.6 rounds. We'll fire from a distance of about 10 feet. The conditions out here are about 80 degrees. It's very humid. I'd say close to 100% humidity. Zoom in there for you. We'll fire off a few rounds just to try to get an average of what we're getting out of this barrel. That'll do it.